Aloha and Tashi Delay from Kauai Tibetan Buddhist Dharma Center here on the island of Kauai. We present these teachings every Thursday night, 6 to 8, and they're recorded, put on our website, kauaidharma.org, for those that live in other time zones. I'm Lama Tashi. When we present these teachings, they are simply the various methods that we've adopted, taught to us by our lamas, through their unbroken lineages, which all of this originally came from Shakyamuni Buddha 2,600 years ago. And since the lineages are unbroken transmissions of his teachings through India, Tibet, and now to all the cultures of the planet, we are fortunate enough here in Hawaii to have the good karma of being able to bring the teachers here, either to stay or to visit and give teachings in whatever they thought was appropriate for our various centers. This Thursday night class follows that same principle. And so myself, Lama Tashi, has to represent all of that which has been going on since the 70s. So this last 50 years has been very interesting. Tonight, we're going to do the 3 lights meditation with the 5 elements practice, and then the deity yoga of Vajrasattva practice. And when we get to that Vajrasattva practice, then I'll explain how it originated and became one of the main practices of the Tibetan tradition, not just for the foundation practices, but for constant purification of our body, speech, and mind as we move through these practices to the realizing the ultimate nature of our consciousness. This ultimate nature, everybody has. It's innate, just like your awareness of your situation now in what we call the drama mind. So these 2 natures of consciousness, which all sentient beings have, are based on 2 truths. One is the relative truth that here we are, caught up in our emotional afflictions and suffering from that, the experience of pain and suffering. That truth is called the relative truth. And you can't say it doesn't exist. But it doesn't exist how we think about it. And so I'll explain that a little bit further in the class. But Lama Rinchen gives us a pointing out instruction in his book, The Story of All of It, simply said. And this book of about 40 pages took about 20 years to put together from his teachings. And it's not just to be read once. It's actually a guide that we can refer to at any time as we progress through the various levels and paths of the Dharma instruction program according to the lamas. But what we have is awareness, and we're developing this awareness. In the relative truth, we call the drama mind, we have awareness of this. But that same awareness is the awareness of the ultimate truth of your mind. And the difference is simply transforming with the guidance of the Lama gradually into that other state of consciousness. The actual example of what awareness is a state without thinking. What is this like? It is called a state of pure awareness, but even though you're not thinking, it's still possible to carry out your activities. It is not catatonic. In the case of this, as explained as a fundamental simplicity of the mind not being disturbed by emotional conflict or involvement, which comes from thinking. And when there are no thoughts about the general situation or needing details of what is to be done or accomplished, there's just this awareness. And it's not constricted. It's an awareness of everything. And that's very valuable. So I've just explained, that's on page 35 of Lama's story of all of it. By the way, you can get this through us or through Amazon.
And Heidi is on tonight.
And Heidi, who put this all together for us, is watching us tonight. It's on the program. She's going to practice with us tonight. That's a good thing. Thank you, Heidi. And all the other people that contributed to the success of this lovely Dharma Center here in the island. Why do you need a Lama, teacher? Because you can't do this on your own. No matter how wonderful and smart you think you are, that wonderfulness and smartness is actually an obstacle. And without the guidance of the teacher, there's no way you can transfer your consciousness from the relative situation to the ultimate nature. It's just not possible. And especially in this age of extreme disturbances and distractions. So what to do? Well, the basic thought of Tibetan Buddhism is that, first of all, you got to get rid of your idea of a self or a soul, progressing to some place or some situation better. And the way we start to do that is with the idea that everything we do in this tradition, with these practices, these methods, is for everybody else. And it's called the altruistic motivation, and no other path is based on this motivation. No religion, no tradition of healing. And so we start with that, and that becomes the theme of all of our methods or practice. I'll read it to you, then chanted in Sanskrit. Sanskrit is how all of the teachings of the Buddha have been transmitted to all the cultures of the planet using just that one language. In our language, it says, in order to attain enlightenment or realization of our true nature, for ourselves and limitless sentient beings, our mothers, we now altogether take refuge and, when possible, offer prostration. When you say that prayer and take it to heart, you have moved your consciousness towards your own true nature, your Buddha nature. And with that idea, it gets easier and easier to release from the concepts of I, me, mine, or soul, or any other weird ideas. And so, who are these mothers? Well, sentient beings are called that because they have 6 senses. They have form, and they exist. And they exist everywhere in our universe. And there are 3 categories: animals and humans, which we know, and they take birth on planets throughout the universe. Spirits. This is where the word spiritual practice comes from. Spirits are infinite in number, and they possess the totality of space. They are in us and in everything. Unlimited. And all of them were once humans. And they, like, not all of them, but they like the Dharma, and they like the people who practice and teach the Dharma because of this idea. And I'm going to chant the Sanskrit prayer for this, simply to let them know they're our friends. We're their friends. Dag dang joa nam ke ta dar yam pe sem chem tam che du di ne shun te ji si jeng shu ning po la chi ki bardu. Then we take refuge with the 6 supports. Without these 6, no Dharma. The Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha are called the 3 roots. The Lamas, the deities, and the Dharma protectors are called the 3 roots. The Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha is called the 3. Come on.
Now you made me forget. Jewels.
Jewels. Yeah, good. So the 3 jewels of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. All Buddhism handles that one. But only in Tibetan Buddhism do we handle the 3 roots as part of the support of all of what we do. And they are all the lamas and all the symbols of the deities, peaceful and protector deities, dakinis, that we use in these practices. We go for refuge to all the glorious holy lamas, number 1. We go for refuge to all the yidams, who are the deities gathered in our mandala practice, number 2. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those humans who have conquered their mind and gone beyond, number 3. We go for refuge to all this supreme Dharma, number 4. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha, those who teach and practice in this tradition. And we go for refuge to all the Dakas and Dakinis who are the protectors and defenders of this wisdom Dharma. And all of these 6 refuge supports possess the eye of transcending awareness, the ultimate nature. In Sanskrit, excuse me, Palden Lama Dampa Namla Chapsu Chio Yidam Chokorgi Latso Namla Chapsu Chio Sanjay Chom Dende Namla Chapsu Chio Dampe Chur Namla Chapsu Chio Kalpe Gendu Namla Chapsu Chio Pawo Kandro Chokyum Sume Sho Yishiki Shendong Dempa Namla Chapsu Chio. So now we have the altruistic motivation and the 6 supports. Then we enter into what is called Bodhisattva Training School, Bodhicitta. And the words for that are, to the Buddha, Dharma, and this Supreme Assembly, we go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit, practicing the 6 Bodhisattva disciplines called the 6 perfections, quickly accomplish Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. 6 supports, 6 Bodhisattva disciplines. And that comes out of the heading of Bodhicitta. And it sounds like this in Sanskrit. Sanjay Chodam Choki Chodam Lam Jaichu Bardu Dagni Chapsu Chi Dagi Jinso Jipe Sonan Ki Jola Pinjer Sanjay Juparsho. The refuge prayer and the Bodhicitta prayer are said 3 times in either your language or Sanskrit at the start of each formal practice session. And that brings all the power, energy, loving kindness, insight into your situation as a yogi or yogini doing these practices. Now we meditate. But I said there were 6 bodhisattva practices. Meditation is the 5th. Before you get to meditation, you have to have the first 4. And it starts with generosity, so it's Christmas every day. Morality, ethics, and good manners is easy to understand because The simplicity of that is you don't harm yourself, you don't harm others, and you don't harm the environment. The third one is patience. Without this, you won't practice and you won't have a good time in your relationships. The fourth one is diligence or perseverance in these first three, and then applied to meditation practice, which in the Tibetan tradition is the use of the imagination with focus. It's not just about single-pointed focus to gain a state of peace and tranquility. Yes, that is important, but that peace and tranquility level doesn't help you handle your emotional distortions of everything. So you use that to move into the insight, which is the sixth. And I think you should know what insight is. I mean, I read it to you from Lama Rinpoche's book, but this meditation practice has gained a state of simplicity in modern time. I mean, the schools of India and Tibet mapped the human mind, consciousness, and gave very in-depth instructions and methods. But now it's simply about vivid awareness. And the simplicity of doing this state of insight is explained in the last half of this book. But let me read one aspect or summary of what it is and how easy it is to do this. I can say that because I'm doing it. So everything we teach in these classes is from the Lama's own practice. In the transcendent knowledge, it is simply the Buddha's teachings of the essence of all of what the Dharma teaches. And it has many synonyms, like the reflection of the moon in water. But here's a pointing out instruction from Gangchar Rinpoche, together with Trangu Rinpoche. And when you do these practices, it's good to call those two into your Mahamudra, Dzogchen, whatever name you're giving this insight practice. But here it is. The mind's essence is the nature of all sentient beings. It is the realization of all the Buddhas of the three times of past, present, and future. It is the essence of 84,000 Dharma teachings. It is the heart of the glorious Master, the Lama Guru, as your guide. Heart. That was summed up from a statement made by Padmasambhava in the 7th or 8th century. Later, I'll read you how to apply that. 3 ways. Sit with your back straight. Head slightly tilted forward. Mouth closed. Eyes, soften the gaze, like half close your eyes. That's the way they show it in the statues in Tonkas. Like this. See, I'm gonna Buddha over this shoulder. There. Hands in a comfortable position, either on your knees or in your lap. Then simply bring your awareness, which is called focus. Focus your awareness on your breath. We use that powerful element because it keeps us alive. It gives us energy. It's our main support in the body. Empowering it is the purpose of this, focusing on the breath using a 3-light code. As you inhale, imagine the air, which contains the 5 elements, to fill your lungs with white light. The energy is spontaneously passed through every cell in your body, and we visualize that as red light flashing through your form. Then we bring these 2 codes, the white and red, together and exhale blue light out your nose to space. As a powerful healing breath, not just in the act of breathing, but in speaking. And we use the term space because that's where everybody is. And this is for everybody. Remember the altruistic motivation? Inhale white light, fill your lungs. The red light energy through every cell in your body. These 2 together out the nose is blue light to space. Think of the sky. And count 21 of these breaths to start the practice. When you get to the 21st breath, take your focus off the breath and mentally combine the three lights into a single point of light in your heart chakra, in the middle of your body, in the central channel of your life force. And the moment you do that, you are connecting to the infinite light of the radiance of the great expanse of space. And so space being the mother element, connect to her by simply being present and contemplating space. Then from this elemental dimension, again invent the particle in your heart chakra and visualize it to grow into a small sphere of clear light, which is the nature of all energy existing in our world. And focusing on that small sphere of clear light, expand it into one of the symbols of the 5 elements we use for this healing practice. Tonight, we're going to use the water element. And it's a blue sphere visualized in your heart center about the size of your thumbnail. Doesn't have to be this big. And it's labeled water. Then with your imagination, visualize that small blue sphere to move out in front of your body and up before your eyes. Arm's length in front, about 2 feet in front. And at that point, it takes in the energy of all 5 elements exist right there. Earth, water, fire, air, space, right there. But for healing purposes and applications, for symptomatic healing, it's the blue sphere. Then imagine it to grow in size large enough that you can see your physical body sitting inside. It can be room size, or as long as you can see yourself comfortably, just like you are inside. With the psychic energy of your own mind, the healing immediately starts to take place. Then to share this healing energy method, imagine the sphere to take up an area about 50 miles in diameter. Here on Kauai, we imagine the island and surrounding ocean, all of that inside. Then visualize it, imagine it to grow in size to completely enclose Mother Earth, including her atmosphere. Expanded in size to completely enclose the sun and all the planets in our solar system. Billions of miles in every direction. Then expanded in size to completely enclose our spiral disc-shaped galaxy. Said to be 100,000 light years in diameter. Then imagine it to merge with limitless space. To share with the infinite number of sentient beings inhabiting space. Be present, relax, no meditation. Awareness. Then bring that awareness you are developing with this practice to again invent the blue sphere enclosing the galaxy. Shrink it in size to just enclose the solar system. Smaller and smaller to just enclose Mother Earth. Then smaller to just your island, city, town, or a large area where you're doing this practice. Then all of that energy to the blue sphere enclosing your physical form body. Then to end the practice, bring the sphere to in front of your eyes, to its original small size. Chest, then to chest level and into your heart chakra. Shrink it to the point of light connecting to the infinite light of space. In this state of present awareness, bring that awareness to in front of your eyes and spread it into your area of influence. And in Bodhisattva training, we dedicate the virtue of whatever practice we're doing to the benefit of all beings, our mother. The water element. This three lights practice and five elements healing practice requires no formal transmission from a lama. These five elements make everything in the universe. Nothing exists without these five energies. And in our shamanistic tradition, they are viewed as the female or mother energy of everything. And we use the word Dakini. And when we do the practices, the Dakini is your imagination. And she is red. Everything you imagine, not just, I'm not talking about the free flow of thoughts and ideas. I'm talking about formal use of the imaginary process, especially in Dharma practice. And as she is, this energy that I'm talking about, it's called the third eye in Tibetan. And all the deities possess, Buddha symbols, these three eyes. The one of the imagination and the two of your sensual eye faculty of sight. Knowing this, it puts a special energy into those two functions that we use. Well, actually, we just did it in the five elements, three lights back. And so, why do we use the imagination? Because you can't get anywhere without it. you know? And some people says, well, I can't imagine, I can't visualize it. It may have atrophied because of too much use of TV, telephone, computers, and other weird light sources, cell phones, or just too much solar energy at the beach. But it can be regenerated. And what is the imagination? Is the creation of what you want, where you want to go, what do you want to do, how do you want to be, you know? I mean, you can't get to Hawaii without imagination. You have to imagine yourself going to the airport, buying a ticket, getting on a plane, renting a car, etc. The actual world and the imaginary world are the same. How are they the same? They're all the light energy of radiation. Everything you see coming in, everything you imagine is a byproduct of thought, imagination working together. And when we do this next practice, that Dakini, that mother principle of the imagination and the thought, is a wrathful red Tara, and she is visualized in the practice we're going to do tonight of Vajrasattva, sitting in union with Shenrei. Now, normally, these two are done either all white or all blue. But what are these codes? Are simply using the imagination to move your consciousness into the all-pervading energy of 5 states of ultimate truth. Buddha feels is a term, but this is your ultimately true usefulness of the imagination, which couldn't exist without the 5 elements of your body. And so we move it with the color codes of the elemental energy of the Dakini and these 5 states of ultimate awareness, which is another word for truth. And the Dakini is originating in the discerning awareness of what's appropriate to move from the conflict of emotional programming to a situation where that doesn't exist. And you have to use the imagination and the sight for that to work. So that's Vajrayogini. Hema Khandro, and she is wrathful, which means she's powerful. Don't fool around. It's like when you got kids, you got a nice way of disciplining, and when they misbehave, you use a little more wrathful energy to discipline. But we're going to move from this state of discerning awareness through the real nature of everything, of being voidness, into the energy field of the Buddha that's sitting over my right shoulder on the shrine behind me. And this Buddha is the Buddha energy of everything being interconnected. And this state of interconnectedness, which There's no separation. Past, present, and future can't be separate. Out, inside, middle ground, can't be separate. Absolute truth and relative truth can't be separate. And it's the same awareness. So everything is interconnected like a mirror reflecting everything. We use the term the all-pervading nature of consciousness, Dharmakaya. But this Dharmakaya is symbolized as mirror-like wisdom, possessing compassion, power, loving kindness, and insight. Those four. And all the symbols we use are those four. And they're all different interpretations and applications of the natural state of awareness that we are evolving into. I mean, we've been around growing and developing for limitless lifetime. But now we have the opportunity to move beyond that or with that into the evolution of higher states of intelligence. Got the Buddha. The stupa is a symbol of the nature of the, not only the five elements, but these five wisdom, five Buddha nature. This is another taka of Vajrasattva showing him she with the skull cup and knife behind his head, and he with the dorji and bell behind her back. So there are many different tankas. So now we'll start the practice. When Lama Rinchen taught us that Vajrasattva practice, using the Yabyu mother-father symbol, he says, the male comes from the Vajra, which is the union of the five elements and the five energy fields of five dhyana Buddhas in you, connecting in your consciousness. And you see that above your head. I says, oh, really? He says, yeah, and the Dakini comes from the bell. Now, these two ritual symbols are used in tantric practice. But this one is to call all the available female energy, Dakini energy, no matter what level it is existing, into your practice. And this one is to use that skillfully with the guidance of the Lama as an indestructible state of timeless awareness. So from the center of the Vajra, Vajrasattva appears, and from where the Vajra connects to the bell, Vajrayogini appears. So these two you see hanging above your head. Now this is Lama Rinchen. He's an imagination specialist. Then light goes out from those two to all the lamas and all the people that use this practice, tantric practice or sutra practice in this way. Then the light comes back as two symbols. Her symbol is a red ram in this case, and his symbol is the hum, the ultimate healing system, symbol of the Buddha, the medicine Buddha, and Vajrasattva. And so once those two symbols appear, the bell and dorje disappear. And from these two symbols, the Ram, red Ram, and the dark blue Hum, the two deities appear with those symbols in their heart chakra. They're called the creation symbols of ultimate timeless awareness. Using the energy of the universe and your own true nature of awareness coming together, then this attracts all the radiant light of all the teachers into their appearance, into their heart center. And the 100-syllable mantra of the practice evolves from their heart chakra like a coil of jewels. So visualize a bed spring or coil. And it is connecting the two of them with the sound or vibration of energy which fills the two deities, and from their point of sexual union enters into the Uma channel at the back, towards the back of your head, and flows through the head chakra, throat chakra, heart chakra, navel chakra, sex chakra, and then through your whole body, thousands of channels of energy. And what happens is it starts to push out all the emotional crud you've put in your physical body, conditioned by others since birth. And opens up the physical to its true nature of light. And then as this stuff moves out through your pores and your orifices, it collects on the surface of your body like sweat and sluices off into the earth as nectar for the beings living in the earth, nagas, animals, whatever. And you visualize that however you want to, while saying the mantra. So Vajrasattva, Vajrayogini, mantra forms. Om, the energy of the universe. Vajrayogini, Vajrasattva. These two together, Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya, means commitment. Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Denopa, Tikta Jado Mevawa, Sutokayo Mevawa, Supokayo Mevawa, Anurakto Mevawa, Sarva Siddhi Memtrayas, Sarva Karma Susame, Sitsam Shriyam Kuru Hom. Ha ha, ho, Bhagawan Sarvartathagata, Vajramame Musa, Vajrabhava, Mahasamaya, Sattva, Ah. Ah is the universal sound of the energy of the universe and your own energy. No separation. Same. Om Vajrayogini, Vajrasattva Samaya, Manopalaya, Vajrasattva Denopa, Tikta Jito Mevawa, Sutokayo Mevawa, Supokayo Mevawa, Sutokayo Mevawa, Anurakto Mevawa, Sarva Siddhi, Memtrayasa, Sarva Karma, Sutsame, Sitsam Shriyam, Kuru Hom. Ho, Bhagavan, Sarvadattagat, Vajramame Munsa, Vajrabhava, Mahasamaya, Sattva, Om Vajragani Vajrasattva Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Denopa, Tita Jito Me Bhava, Suto Gayo Me Bhava, Supo Gayo Me Bhava, Anurakta Me Bhava, Sarva Siddhi Memtraya, Sarva Karma Sutta Me, Sitsam Shriya Guru Ho, Ha 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 Ho, Bhagavan, Sarva Tata Gata, Vajramame Munsa, Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajragani Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dinoka Tikta Dvita Me Bhava Sudoka Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anurakta Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Mantrayasa Sarva Karma Susame Sistam Shriya Guru Ho Bhagavan Sarvatathagata Vajramame Musa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajragani Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Denupa Nikta Jito Me Bhava Sutukayo Me Bhava Supogayo Me Bhava Anurakta Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Mantrayasa Sarva Karma Susame Sitsam Shriya Guru Ho Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Munsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajragani Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dinopa Tita Jito Me Bhava Suto Gayo Me Bhava Anurakta Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Mantrayasa Sarva Karma Susame Sistam Shriya Guru Ho Ha Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Munsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajragani Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dinoka Nikta Jito Me Bhava Sudokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anurakta Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Mantrayasa Sarva Karma Susame Sistam Shriya Guru Ha Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva. Now, this 100-syllable mantra is a mantra of devotional empowerment to the Lama Guru, we say root Guru, root Lama, who is teaching you this method. So this symbolization is that teacher inseparable from the visualization, from the practice, from the sound of the mantra. And all of it is the body, speech, and mind of the Buddha Shakyamuni and all the Buddhas, past, present, and future. And when I say body, speech, and mind, the body is the deity, these two. The speech is the mantra, and the mind is the motion of your imagination accomplishing this as a replacement or transformation of your situation. All the negative tendencies of all your previous life brought forward to this life are like a shadow, are being purified. Into what? a more intelligent state of awareness, your true nature. So we count 100,000 of this 100-syllable mantra using a mala. This is a counter. It has 108 beads. 100 are the 100 deities that we have in our Dhyana Buddha field. 5 of these are the 5 dhyana energy fields that we use to illuminate our true awareness. And the last 3 are our body, speech, and mind using it, activating it. But you only count 100. The other extra 8 are maybe you didn't focus good or something. Then, after you've done this 3, 7, 21 times, then you do the short mantra of the 2 deities entering into you. You become the 2 deity. Then you simply say Om Vajrasattva Vajrasattva Ram Om. You can add Soha or Pei with certain applications. Om Vajrasattva Vajrasattva Ram Om. You say that short mantra as many times, at least as many times as you say the long mantra in a formal practice.
Are we gonna do more long ones?
Abby says we're going to do long ones. We're going to do the practice. She's the boss. Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dinopa Tita Jito Meva Sutokayo Meva Supokayo Meva Honorato Meva Sarva Siddhi Mantrayasa Sarva Karma Susame System Shriya Guru Oh Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Munsa Vajrava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denoba Tita Jito Meva Sutokayo Meva Supokayo Meva Honorato Meva Sarva Siddhi Mantrayasa Sarva Karma Susame System Shriya Guru Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Munsa Vajrava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denoba Tita Jito Meva Sutokayo Meva Supokayo Meva Honorato Meva Sarva Siddhi Mantraya Sarva Karma Susame System Shriya Guru Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Munsa Vajrava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajragini Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denoba Tita Jito Meva Sutokayo Meva Supokayo Meva Honorato Meva Sarva Siddhi Mantrayasa Sarva Karma Susame System Shriya Guru Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Munsa Vajrava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denoba Tita Jito Meva Sutokayo Meva Supokayo Meva Honorato Meva Sarva Siddhi Mantrayasa Sarva Karma Susame System Shriya Guru Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Munsa Vajrava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denoba Tita Jito Meva Sutokayo Meva Supokayo Meva Honorato Meva Sarva Siddhi Mantrayasa Sarva Karma Susame System Shriya Guru Bhagavan Sarvatadagata Vajramami Bhuta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajragani Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dino Bhatita Jito Me Bhava Sritogaya Me Bhava Shubhogaya Me Bhava Anuragta Me Bhava Sarvasiddhi Mantrayasa Sarvakarma Sutsame Sistam Shri Akura Ho Bhagavan Sarvatathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Samaya Sattva Om Vajragani Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinupa Dita Jito Me Bhava Sudokaya Me Bhava Supokaya Me Bhava Anuragta Me Bhava Sarvasiddhi Mantrayasa Sarvakarma Sutsame Sistam Shri Akura Ho Bhagavan Sarvatathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Samaya Sattva Om Vajragani Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dinopa Dikta Jito Me Bhava Sudokaya Me Bhava Supokaya Me Bhava Anuragta Me Bhava Sarvasiddhi Mantrayasa Sarvakarma Sutsame System Shri Akuru Ho Ho Bhagavan Sarvatathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Samaya Sattva What are you focusing on with your imagination? The two deities. In their heart chakra, the 100-syllable mantra coil, turning clockwise as you say it, filling their bodies with radiant light and coming from their point of union into you, lasting through you, purifying all negative tendencies out of your body and down into the earth as nectar. Comes out like sludge, goes down, not wasted, recycled. The two sea syllables, Ram and Hum, are the creation of this to encompass all the beings in the universe doing exactly what you're doing. All mother sentient beings. Whatever you say, whatever you visualize, whatever you do in the practice, they're doing. And that's the sound of the mantra with your voice. Om Vajragani Vajrasattva Samaya Manapalaya Vajrasattva Dinopa Dikta Jito Me Bhava Sudokaya Me Bhava Shubhogaya Me Bhava Anuragta Me Bhava Sarvasiddhi Mantrayasa Sarvakarma Sutsame Sistam Shri Akuru Ho Bhagavan Sarvata Vajramami Bhuta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Vajragani Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinopa Dita Jito Me Bhava Sudokaya Me Bhava Supokaya Me Bhava Anuragta Me Bhava Sarvasiddhi Mantrayasa Sarvakarma Sutsame Sistam Shri Akuru Ho Ho Bhagavan Sarvatathagata Vajramami Bhuta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajragani Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinopa Dita Jito Me Bhava Sudokaya Me Bhava Supokaya Me Bhava Anuragta Me Bhava Sarvasiddhi Mantrayasa Sarvakarma Sutsame Sistam Shri Akuru Ho Bhagavan Sarvatathagata Vajramami Bhuta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva. Where does all this come from? It's from the heart of this Buddha, Aksabhaya Buddha, above their heads. That's the Dharmakaya nature of all the energy field, especially this one of transformation and purification we're doing right now. Mirror-like wisdom. Om Vajragani Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dinopa Dita Jito Sudokaya me bawa, Subokaya me bawa, Anurakta me bawa, Sarva Siddhi Manjaya Sarva Karma Susame, Sisam Shriyaku, Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sarva Tasaka, Vajramami Musa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Ala. In this picture, it's a Vajra sticking up out of the top of the head of Vajrasattva. And it's the middle flower of the 5 flowers she's wearing on her head. Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dinova Tita Jito Mebava Sutokaya Mebava Supokaya Mebava Anurakta Mebava Sarva Siddhi Mantrayasa Sarva Kama Susame System Shriya Ko Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva. And here's the mirror-like wisdom. A purified state of awareness, reflecting the whole universe of sensing being, just as it is. And it's empty because of your development, evolution into this energy field of the Buddha Aksabhaya, and purifying all tendencies ingrained in your body this way. Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dinava Diktajito Mebava Sudokaya Mebava Shobokaya Mebava Anurakta Mebava Sarva Siddhi Mantrayasa Sarva Karma Susam System Shriyam Ku Hom Ha Ha Ho Bhagava Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva. Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dinova Diktajito Mebava Supokaya Mebava Anurakta Mebava Sarva Siddhi Mantrayasa Sarva Karma Susame System Shriya Ku Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva. Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dinova Diktajito Mebava Sudokaya Mebava Supokaya Mebava Anurakta Mebava Sarva Siddhi Mantrayasa Sarva Karma Susame System Shriya Ku Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva. Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dinava Diktajito Mebava Sudokaya Mebava Supokaya Mebava Anurakta Mebava Sarva Siddhi Mantrayasa Sarva Karma Susame System Shriya Ku Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva. Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dinava Diktajito Mebava Sudokaya Mebava Supokaya Mebava Anurakta Mebava Sarva Siddhi Mantrayasa Sarva Karma Susame System Shriya Ku Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva. Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dinava Diktajito Mebava Sudokaya Mebava Supokaya Mebava Anurakta Mebava Sarva Siddhi Mantrayasa Sarva Karma Susame System Shriya Ku Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dinova Diktajito Mebava Sudokaya Mebava Supokaya Mebava Anurakta Mebava Sarva Siddhi Mantrayasa Sarva Karma Susame Sitsam Shriyam Kuru Hum. Ha 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 ho Bhagawan. Sarvatata Gata. Vajramame Mutsa. Vajrabhava. Mahasamaya. Sattva Ah. So I broke it down into the verses of how it's translated into how it would sound if you were saying it in your language. But altogether is how we purify, see it filling the deity's body, then our body, then down into the earth, out of our body and down into the earth. Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manapalaya Vajrasattva Jino Palatita Jino Mevawa Suyaka Mevawa Shubhagaya Mevawa Anurata Mevawa Sarvasati Manjayasa Sarvakama Susame System Shuyaku Om Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sarvatata Gata Vajramame Musa Vajrabhala Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manapalaya Vajrasattva Dhinova Tita Jita Mebhava Sudakaya Mebhava Shubhakaya Mebhava Anarakta Mebhava Sarvasati Manchaya Sarva Karma Susame Sisam Shriyako Ho Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sarva Tataka Vajramami Mansa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Om Pei. So you say those two at the end of your recitation formal session. Then the second part of the practice is the two deities above merge into you. And you are now Vajrasattva and Vajragini. If you were just doing Vajrasattva singular, which is another way of doing it, it would just be Vajrasattva. Either way, you say the short mantra, Om Vajrasattva. In this case, she's read wrong, Hum. Hum is the ultimate healing vibration. Medicine Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, many deities.
You don't say Vajrayogini?
Om Vajragini, Vajrasattva, wrong, Hum. Om Vajragini, Vajrasattva, wrong, Hum. Now we just said about 21 recitations of the long mantra. Now we're going to say, and you can mark that on your mala with a piece of string. Now you say, Om Vajragini, Vajrasattva, Mam Hum. 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 When you're saying these mantras, it's connecting those two seed souls with the vibration of those two sounds. Mom, or whatever her seed soul is, and Hum. Om Vajragini, Vajrasattva, Mam 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 Hum. Pei. Pei means cut from negative tendency, all purified. Then the 2 deities are all the beings in the universe. So you visualize that. Then all those beings of Vajrasattva or Vajrayogini and Vajrasattva stream into you from every direction. Implode the universe of mother beings into you. Then you, as these two deities, she melts into the male deity and the mom moves into the womb. She disappears and Vajrasattva disappears into the 100-syllable mantra and the short mantra, and all those syllables disappear into the C-syllable womb. Then the hum, the mantra sounds, once they disappear into the hum merges by either shrinking to a tiny point of light, like you did with the 5 elements practice, 3 lights practice, or it expands to the totality of space and light. Of 5 colors. And if it's the totality of the small point, you merge with space. If you do it the other way out to infinite space, same. Once you make that connection, no meditation. The hum disappears with the 5-colored light, and you become mirror like wisdom. The Buddha over my right shoulder. Or a state of ultimate awareness. And now I'm going to read you how this connects. Three statements. It is said that all the learned and accomplished masters of India and Tibet had the same realization. And there is not a single master who claims that the realization of the main part of the practice is anything other than non-fixation. That is the meaning that you should understand yourself and that you can point out to others as your ultimate state of awareness. Then the mantra, all mantra realization, become the vibration of sound as all the speech of the Buddhas. And everything that appears to your eyes, the outer and inner world and its inhabitants, are the essence that has no self-clinging. In this way, the perceived and the perceiver are purified into the clear, empty body of the deity. I supplicate the Lama who has naturally liberated desire. And this statement was made by Padmasambhava. Then all the sounds of the mantra that resound in your ears, to which you cling, and all the sounds of nature, whether pleasant or unpleasant, all these sounds are empty. So rest in the nature with no thinking, knowing that the empty resounding of the Buddha's speech has no arising or ceasing. I supplicate the empty resounding Lama Victor's speech. And this also was pronounced by Padmasambhava. Then all the thoughts that we think move before the mind continuously, with no beginning or end. And all the afflictions, the five poisons, and whatever occurs as a result, don't need to be anticipated, analyzed, or altered when resting in a natural state. All of this, by their motion alone, are freed into the Dharmakaya, the all-pervasive nature of awareness. I supplicate the Lama of self-liberated awareness, and this was uttered by Padmasambhava. The purity of all of this, whatever is perceived outside, all the appearance of objects and so forth, the liberation of what is perceived from the inside, which is simply the mind's essence, and the clear radiance between the recognition, which is the recognition of this, is the compassion of the Sugata's in action to the benefit of all beings in the three times, past, present, and future. Please liberate the mind stream of those who are like me. And that's the summary of the three pointing out of vivid awareness. And if you have this book, it's on page 151. So let's do that. Everything we just performed in practice you think about with a code. And the code is presented by the Lama Gangshar Rinpoche as, first of all, openness to the infinite expanse of space. Clarity of not being distracted in this state of awareness. Nakedness, as there's nothing to add or take away when you use this awareness. And luminosity or light is being vivid awareness. Filling space produces the Dharmakaya. Relax in the present moment is the focus of this awareness. This second stage of the practice is called the fulfillment stage of Mahamudra, which simply transcends into the great view of the Dharma expanse of infinite space containing infinite sentient beings. But when this is performed, the Vajrasattva practice is part of a four-part foundation practice for Sutra and Tantric practitioners. And doing prostrations with the refuge prayer is the main practice of the first of these four extraordinary foundation practices called Nungdro. The second is this Vajrasattva Vajrayogini, which is the function of all the deities used in these practices, peaceful or protector, and they are all the Lama's mind, inseparable. The third practice is to make mandala offerings to acquire what is necessary in the form of wealth or support to be a good Vajra practitioner, accomplished. And the fourth practice is Guru Yoga. Now, these first three are Guru Yoga because the practice and the teacher, no separation. That's why this Buddha is at the top of the five Dhyana Buddhas with the accomplishment of mirror-like wisdom. And with that understanding, the other four energy fields fall into place. That of Bodhisattva practice, of course. Understanding that everything is voidness, Dharmadhatu, of course. That everything is equal. Wow. No high, no low, no good nor bad, equal. Everyone and everything, same. What is that sameness? The one taste is voidness, which is what you were doing with the deities when they dissolved into space. It's called the practice of the Kusulu. That's the new modern term for accomplishing Latong, insight meditation. All the deity yogas clear, all the mantra recitation, everything clears your past karma tendencies. The awareness practice, the accomplishment phase, is to clear future karma. Because if your mind is in that state, there will be no future karma. And when you do the Guru practice, it's simple. The Guru is the Dharmakaya. The Guru is the Sambhogakaya energy of all the deities. The Guru is the loving kindness, compassion, power, and insight of the Lama, the teacher, monk, nun, householder, yogi, yogini, whatever their situation. And when you connect to the natural state of ultimate truth, your true state of awareness, that's it. Everything becomes just as it is. You don't have to mess with it. And you don't have to let it mess with you. And that's the right thing. I use the word right instead of good.
Someone has a question.
Hmm?
Someone has a question.
Who?
Ali from UK is wondering whether there are any antidotes to losing the motivation to practice.
Yeah, that means you're getting lazy. What's the antidote to laziness? Work. But the antidote to not finding the time to practice is normal. But don't treat it like a job. This is supposed to be medicine. So think of it as healing medicine. To heal what? Your shitty situation, that you're so lazy. So Lama Rinchen said, take a 24-hour day period and take 1 hour out of the 24 for Dharma practice. And if that's too much, try half an hour. And if that's too much, try 15 minutes. He said it's kind of like drinking alcohol. 1 drop leads to a gallon. I know. Alcoholic. Dharma practice is simply to heal your situation. And you have to be the boss of your body, speech, and mind. And if it's just sitting quietly watching your breath, that's Dharma practice. But the Guru is doing this. Myself and all sentient beings, my mothers, go to the Lama, the perfect Buddha. Myself and all sentient beings, my mothers, filling space, go to the Lama, the all-pervasive nature of the Dharmakaya. Myself and all sentient beings, my mothers, filling space, go to the Lama, the nature of the bliss energy of the Sambhogakaya practices. That's all the deity. Myself and all sentient beings, my mothers, filling space, go to the Lama as the teacher of loving kindness, altruistic compassion, power, and insight into truth, into awareness. If you don't want to activate your other state of awareness, then you're bound to the wheel of pain and suffering, and in your next life, your emotions will drive you into the animal realm, the spirit realm, heaven, hell, or in between, or back in the human condition under unfavorable conditions. And if you don't think that's true, look at the planet today and the activity of the humans, 7 billion of it today. That might inspire you to do practice. And I have to be honest, every morning I go on YouTube for inspiration for 5 minutes. Then no problem for the next 2 hours of practice. So much suffering. So much pain. There are 4 thoughts that might inspire you. 1, you have 10 conditions that help you because you connect to the Dharma and the Lama. And you don't have all the negative conditions that would block that. Number 2, you're impermanent. You're going to leave this body and go to another state of being. Number 3, karma. Whatever you say, think, and do has a result. And number 4, conditioned existence sucks. Physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You want to stay that way? Think about that. Ew. Those 4 thoughts are to get the lazy people off their butt into Dharma practice. Then you have the 4 foundation practices, then you have the Dita yoga practices, and then you have relaxing and awareness. Which awareness? Not the drama one. I hope that answers your question. Did it?
Yes, thank you.
And there's a lot more besides that, but I won't get into it now. Simple pain and suffering is enough inspiration. I'm 83. I want to tell you, this body is lucky to be in one piece. And I'm still have it painful. But it's okay. I'm working on it, just like you. If you can't do any other practice, do taking and sending. All around you is pain and suffering. If you have a headache, take all the headaches of all the people on the planet that have headache into your heart and disappear it. Just that idea.
As black light.
Abby says, inhale it as black light into your heart and disappear it. Then exhale white light to that group. You don't know how many. That they're physically, mentally, and emotionally healed. And if you want, throw in the word spiritual. White light, black light. Black light comes in with removing all of their crud and mixing it with yours. Into your heart, disappear it instantly. Exhale white light back to that group or individual. Okay, infinite okay, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Healthy, well. Just do that practice and see what happens. Now we dedicate the virtue of this session tonight to the benefit of all beings. And you can think of all beings as your mothers or your children, your choice. Kewadi Nurdu Dog, Jagya Champu Drugirne, Jowa Chinking Malupa, De Salako Parsho, Sanjay Kusum Dempai Jamada, Choni Megur Dempai Jamada, Kendu Miche Dumpai Jamaki, Chitar Goma Monan Druparjo. By this virtue of having realized Mahamudra, ultimate awareness, may I establish all beings without exception in that state. By the blessing of the 3 bodies of the Buddha being accomplished, by the blessing of the truth of this Dharma being unchanging, and by the blessing of the wishes of the Sangha, that's us, being unwavering, may this dedication and prayer be fulfilled. May all beings be free of suffering. May all beings be happy. May all beings be established in bliss by our practice and a state of equanimity. May all the lamas have long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity. And may all their wishes be fulfilled right now, today. Chuchiche, thank you. Mahalo. And aloha.
Uche Tashi Lama.
Thank you.
Uche.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha, guys.
Be well and have good dreams.
Yeah, have a good dreams.
And remember to cancel your dreams as soon as you wake up. You got
How do you-
enough drama in the waking stage.